gosh, it's happening. 3 and 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, probably went like a little fast. 1. Yay! We're almost done. It's processing. Our baby's almost complete. Our baby's almost complete. This is so cool. Okay, I may look like I'm a bit crazy here because that's understandable. But I mean, it's getting uploaded. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it was uploaded, now it's processing. Like, ah, oh my god. I spent so much time working on it. That's why. Give me a second. We don't want to disturb anyone else. You know, the reason why I started doing this earlier this week and I didn't get into shoutouts because of this, seriously, was because it pretty much took me a whole entire day of production to get a Klance Theater IU video done. Let alone just all of the pre-planning and groundwork that I've been doing for this project in my sleep, like in my head. So, you know, this weekend, because one of my friends is getting older and they're having a birthday party and I'm going, I decided to start doing our process for all of our videos earlier in the week instead of just being like, okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was like, okay, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I thought that the party was actually today, which is Saturday, but it's actually on Sunday, so I'm okay because this is my main channel uploading day, which is why I was kind of scared and why I really did start on Wednesday. Because had I known it started on Sunday, it would have been Thursday. But I'm so glad that I started doing this on Wednesday. Like, the process of putting it all together, because it's literally made a huge difference. Like, this is uploaded right now instead of being uploaded later, which also gets me the chance to go through and get all my Klance comic dubs together. And I started a video edit as well. It's actually a picture edit, but you know, edit. I just called it a video edit because it's a video and it's an edit, but whatever. I started that as well, like early in the week, because like I had an idea for it, so I just kind of went with it. And that was nice. That's in the works. Like, I'm done the intro. And editing, you can edit anywhere. But you are not able to dub any and everywhere. And that is a really big difference. And a bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen the first episode of Klance Theater IU, know what? You have to go and see it. It is amazing. Yes, it's like 36 minutes and 47 seconds, but it's 36 minutes and 47 seconds of heaven, and it's amazing. It's like, it's good. It's got all the snaps there. It's got all the snaps. And the second episode, which is uploading now, is assured to have even more. I really went for, sorry. Please don't, like, copyright me. You can't really hear that anyway. But honestly, the real thing is I went for a lot of interpreting on this, and I think that's what made it so much more real and better, just because, you know, when you write a story, when you write a story and you transfer it, you know, transform it into a script or whatever, your wording is probably and usually grammatically correct, but that's not the way that people speak all the time. And so that's why I strive when I'm, you know, comic dubbing and even writing, to write the way that people actually speak. You know, if I'm not gonna say this out loud, then they're not, you know? Like, for obviously Unseen and Focus, in Unseen and in Focus, I always thought of how the characters hold themselves and who they are, and how one might speak in more grammatically correct sentences than another would, and you know, how others would get ticked off if they did it, but also where to draw the line on being so, you know, grammatically correct. And it's kind of like with Alora and Alfor, right? It's also got like VLD creators now as well. You know, with like Alora and Alfor, I've always made sure that like all of their sentences pretty much sound grammatically correct in some sense, and politically correct when needed, though they have been known to just straight up, you know, curse. They have a more proper way of doing it, and they just they hold themselves differently than everyone else does in the story, especially because, well, they were trained to be diplomats. So, you know, that's definitely what makes the difference. And when you see the characters on screen, you definitely want to feel like the characters are actually in the piece. So when the way it's written makes sense, but may not exactly match up to the way that I would see a character saying this, and maybe somebody else would as well, then I change it. And I do that so then it's more authentic and real. And just, it works out a lot better than just being like, and then so for after, and then blah, blah, blah. That's like the biggest thing that I think I've learned from dubbing and becoming a dubbist, is that the words on the paper do not always translate to real life, and if they do, you probably still want to you know, you probably still want to give it a little bit of its own free rhythm and movement, just because when it's natural, it definitely shows on the other side of the mic. And a lot of people, you know, are like, oh yeah, but like it says that, so I should say that. And I understand that. That was something I did all the time when I was younger, when I was getting into dubbing. But if you don't interpret it, one, you're never going to get the shot that you want of your voice saying the exact same words that are on that paper. It's not going to happen. And two, you will always kind of feel shortchanged in some type of way. You know, say the words, but say them with your own meaning and emotion. And if that means changing the story just in small ways, then it does. And if that means deeper character development, then it does. That's the thing. Everybody dubs differently, so you can see a million different dubs of the same exact comic, and they will literally, like, I swear to you, like not, like, I'm not gonna swear on anything, but if I were to, I could, because every dubbist does it differently. Every channel does it differently. Heck, the same person could go and do it again, and it could be different a year later. You know, whether it be the voices and the meaning behind them, how they may canonically make some tweaks, it's always different. Everybody brings a different side and note toward the story. And when I was first getting into Voltron during wisdom tooth surgery, as some of you, and I guess like the majority of you probably might know, unless like you're newer onto this channel, that's like how I got into Voltron. I was forced to sit on the couch for like 2 weeks, but my face was all swelled up and stuff, but I could still see Voltron. It was just my cheeks. I was fine, and I'm fine now, but when I was, you know, getting into Voltron, I was like, you know, I don't want to do fanfics, because fanfics are probably going to spoil what happens, but I do want to do comics. I want to hear comic dubs. I had already been in comic dubs, you know, for Star Wars and DC, and had already been reading my own, you know, fanfic for DC. It wasn't like one I made, it was just when I was reading on Wattpad. So, of course I was doing that, but when I saw one of these, like, school IUs, I saw a million different channels do it, and of course I found, like, the channel that I liked doing the voices and stuff, and had all of them, but a million different channels did it a million different ways. And you would think, oh no, there's like no way that can happen. And it's like, no, it's true. And, you know, for things that I thought were like little minor things back then, I think are like, whoa, that's like drastically different, you know, from what this person did. Because I can just tell it as being a dubbist and, you know, a writer and a reader now. I understand, oh, okay, you're going to take it that way, or you're going to take it that way. And everybody changes up the story in their own way, in shape and form, and everybody interprets it differently. And that's what makes it fun. But, you know, every once in a while, you can go around on YouTube and see different people dub different things, but you'll ultimately always run to like one of these comics that has been dubbed multiple times by different people, and the differences in the dubbing is like insanity. Now, if you're like not a dubbist, you may not notice it as much. If you're not like a writer or something, you may not notice it as much. But, you know, if you're pretty perceptive, perceptive, you will, and you'll see where they're going with it and how other people take it. So, anyway, let's move on to some shoutouts. So, here we go. One goes to Marlene Hagby. Sorry I haven't been here in a long time, but I'm back and this is so amazing. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I am so glad to have you back. It's amazing to see your face again, and no worries. It's been a really interesting road. Trust me, I just figured out what I'm kind of doing right now. And I don't know if I'm doing it for like the rest of summer, but I know that I'm going to be doing this for like long term, which is really good because I didn't know what I was doing with content for a while. It was interesting, like really interesting, but anyway, shoutouts goes to you. Next shoutout goes to Alexis. That was also on Klance Comic Dub 67, My Coming of Age arc. to go through my coming of age. That was too good. But anyway, next one goes to Alexa, I think. Yeah, Alexa Castro. And they said, awesome, do you mind if I use some of your acting for a video of mine? And of course I said, yeah, sure, I don't mind. Thank you so much for commenting and being here and enjoying the video and the acting. Of course, this was on Klance Theater.io. My gosh, it was interesting. A lot of interesting stuff happened in that first episode. And in the second episode, there's a lot of depth brought to all the characters. And I generally just, I was like, yeah, let's get into it. Let's feel it. Anyway. Then we have another shout out that goes to Keith Kageen and says, that's how I feel. Keith, you have all the rights to feel that way. P.S. Great reading. 1, thank you so much, Keith Kageen. 2, yes. Yes, he does. Now, if you didn't watch this theater, I highly recommend it. It's really good. And I love reading it. It's fun. But it also brings up a lot of very important topics and things like about growing up and adolescence. You can clearly see that there are some disconnections between Shiro and Keith and Shiro, and the way that people just are generally feeling. It shows that, your parents generally do always want the best for you, but sometimes they do cross over the line and they go too far. And it also shows that, kids, younger children, adolescents, teens, go through things that adults don't exactly understand because they're not in school anymore. And what they don't understand is that school is exactly the same when they left it, but it's gotten even more cruel. It's just the same amount of cruelty presented in different ways, but it's even worse because it can be. People can always be mean to you, and back in their day, at least for my parents, I know people could go around giving, paper little notes with like nasty messages on them, writing on people's lockers, or, like slipping a nice piece of scrapbook paper with like a death warning on it or something. And people could be like, oh, well, if you're gonna take my man, like, I'm gonna ruin you. It's always been mean girls in high school. It's always been mean people in high school, because high school, middle school, even elementary school, it's actually like that, and it's terrifying, But what your parents don't understand, maybe, is that all that stuff where kids could nowadays get caught because grown-ups look for it doesn't go on anymore. All of that happens on the internet. All of it happens on social media. And therefore, if it doesn't happen on school grounds, the school can't do anything about it. So that's some of the ways that, people who are taking like deep digs and blows at you can just get away with it. And it's really messed up. Especially because some people can hide their IP address. So actually it might have happened on school property, but the police can't trace it. Unfortunately, maybe they could, but it doesn't pop up as being on school property, so they can't even get involved. The school can't even get involved. Not until something happens within the school atmosphere, which you don't know when that's going to happen. This person could just keep bullying you, and they could just keep doing it online. And yeah, sure, they can send you some type of nasty video and blast it to the whole entire school, but until something really happens to you bad in school, the school can't get involved. And there are so many things that just go on happening that go unseen to many adults and a lot of people's lives, and just, totally isn't on the radar. So it just goes flying right past it. Everybody gets slipped a really mean, nasty message about themselves once in a while. And it's not even that. It's that everybody gets somebody hating on them in some type of form or way. That's life. But now it's cooler because we have technology. So we can do it even quicker and even faster. And it's a lot because your parents want you to be the best person that you can be. People who truly love and care about you want that for you. But they may not always understand the way that things can be in school these days. And that really does suck. And, I'm not the only one on here that I know is speaking from personal experience. Having technology is different, and every school has their own social hierarchy. The things you learn in social studies, they can be applied to real life if you just look close enough. Upon first glance, you would think social hierarchy has nothing to do with you, but if you look around your school, it has everything to do with you today, and especially the world of popularity. So you have to look out for that, because social status and wealth have never just been a concept of the past. It's always been a concept that has been in the present. So yeah, it's a really good AU. I love it a lot because it truly is understandable the place like Keith is in and how he feels about things. Then there is one last shout out that goes to Thick Yoshi. Good name. The icon is better for the count. It's good. But anyway, 2 days ago, they said, why did I feel like this was live and in person? Aw. Thank you so much. I really do my best to make it natural and just flow out and just be like, if I feel pain, I feel pain. And if he feels pain, we all feel the pain. And the biggest thing about dubbing is that it's not just dubbing. It's actually voice acting. You have to voice act. You have to get into the scene. It's physically acting as well. Do what you need to get in the scene in the moment. But once you do it and you're on, you're on. And however you convey heavy, deep emotions, do it. Help them do it. Make little movements. Walk around and just really let your voice go at it. Really let yourself go at it. Because, there's a lot of things that happen to a lot of people that all of us can relate to in one way or another. And, even if it comes from sci-fi and fantasy going to a comic dub, going to a AU or a comic dub, there's some level of emotional intimacy that everyone can get with every character. And that's really important to me. So, thank you so much for, of course, commenting and being here, and also leaving comments that were really just thought provoking. it gave me something to talk about with everyone here, and that was really nice, you know? It's a lot, and I hope that you enjoyed. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep working on the next maybe episode of Focus / chapter, but you know, it's more like an episode. And I'll keep working on tons of other things for today as well. I'll tell you that I'm gonna give you a heads up. This next chapter of Focus, it's gonna get you. Like, every chapter of Unseen and Focus gets you, but like, this next chapter of Focus is really gonna get you in like a really good way. So, if you haven't read my fanfic series, if you haven't like started reading my fanfic series yet for Klance, and you're into Klance, into Voltron and stuff, I highly suggest that you go on Wattpad, find me at HopeLove04, start reading Unseen, which is fairly short, then get into Focus, which is the next one, and what will be a trilogy, hopefully. It's a really great way to build on reading, because I get better and better at writing, and it does get longer and longer for each chapter, and yeah, it gets really good. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed, you know, just being here with me, talking, chatting. This is really good. And I'll see you next time. My gosh, so good, so good. Anyway, peace.